Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivādaḥ Asto Tarasutta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivādaḥ Asto Tarasutta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Sri Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prayam Sikao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Madhav Ki Jai Sri 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 Panchatattva Ki Jai Sri Nrsinga Devi Ki Jai Sri Mati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sanyavadi Pastatadesha Tarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So good morning to all. Thank you for coming. Today's class in the beautiful Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 22nd chapter, verse 12. This is a conversation between Svāyambhuva Manu and Kardama Muni. Udyatasya kāmasya prativādo śasyate api nirmukta-saṅgasya kāma-raktasya punaḥ udyatasya kāmasya prativādo śasyate api nirmukta-saṅgasya kāma-raktasya punaḥ udyatasya kāmasya prativādo śasyate api nirmukta-saṅgasya kāma-raktasya punaḥ Others? Udyatasya, which has come of itself. He, in fact, kāmasya, of material desire. Prativādaḥ, the denial. Not. Śasyate, to be praised. Api, even. nirmukta, of one who is free, saṅgasya, from attachment, kāma-raktasya, to sensual pleasures, raktasya, of one addicted, kim punaḥ, how much less. Translation: to deny an offering that has come of itself is not commendable, even for one absolutely free from all attachment, much less one addicted to sensual pleasure. I say, and you can repeat, to deny an offering that has come of itself is not commendable, even for one absolutely free from all attachment, much less one addicted to sensual pleasure. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. In material life, everyone is desirous of sense gratification. Therefore, a person who gets an object of sense gratification without endeavor should not refuse to accept it. Kardama Muni was not meant for sense gratification. Yet, he aspired to marry and prayed to the Lord for a suitable wife. This was known to Svāyambhuva Manu. He indirectly convinced Kardama Muni, quote, "You desire a suitable wife like my daughter, and she is now present before you. You should not reject the fulfillment of your prayer. You should accept my daughter," close quote. Om Gyantimarendasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopeshya Gopeka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radha Brindavaneshwari Brisha Bhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Panchakalpa tarubhyascha kripasendu bhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So once again, the verse, to deny an offering that has come of itself is not commendable, even for one absolutely free from all attachment, much less one addicted to sensual pleasure. So, we have a situation where Svāyambhuva Manu wants to marry his daughter, and he had heard through Narada Muni, I believe, that Kardama Muni was looking for a suitable wife, and so he's saying, look, when you desire something and it comes, you shouldn't reject it. You should accept that comes. You know, of its own accord, it's coming. And so this sets our mind thinking a great deal. You know, how much do we adhere to that? I mean, there's so much as devotees of Krishna. I mean, we're chanting constantly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So are we praying to Krishna? Please, my dear Lord Krishna, please kindly engage me in your loving devotional service. I mean, we may not be. We may be just getting our rounds done. Have you ever heard somebody say, you say, let's go to Govinda's and get some pizza. And they say, no, I got to chant 6 rounds. You know, you ever seen, I've got this to do, I've got these rounds to chant. So in other words, chanting your rounds has become a chore. You know, it's like saying, no, I've got to wash the dishes. I didn't wash the lunch dishes. They're all stacked up, so I'd love to go with you. You go and enjoy. I have this chore I have to do. So we can't let it sink to that level. We have to remember every time that we chant, every syllable when we're chanting, that I'm asking you, Krishna, please engage me in your loving devotional service. This is my request. This is why I'm chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is the whole purpose. We are the Hare Krishna people. We chant Hare Krishna because we're begging for service. Please engage me. So this is what we're all about. So if you're chanting Hare Krishna and someone comes up and says, oh, hey, Prabhu, I have some service that could you help me with? And you say, no, I'm too busy asking for service. I'm sitting here. Can't you see that I'm engaged in asking for service? No, it doesn't make sense, does it? So when service comes, what even you may not be looking for, you may not be thinking, oh, boy, I wish somebody would come up and tap me on the shoulder and give me some service. You may not be thinking like that. But if that happens, you should immediately try to engage. Now, sometimes somebody may want you to do some service that you're just not qualified for. And you may think, oh, I am really not your guy to do that. You know, I may completely goof that up. But I'll try to help, or this guy here, he's very expert. We should get him. So you at least engage what you have. Maybe you can't do it because you're not qualified. But it may end up that you have to do your best so many times. You just have to get in and do your best. It may be your first time that you've ever tried that service, but always be ready. So when you get the tap on the shoulder or the call to do some service, you really ought to get in there and do it. I've always felt that I don't have the right to say no. You know, especially if it's my service. This service is what I do. It's like if you're a cook and someone asks you to cook, well, you're qualified, you're trained, you know. Maybe you weren't planning on cooking, but isn't this Krishna calling you? He wants some cooking done. He's calling one of his cooks. Hey, come and cook. So, do you have the right to say no? No, you don't have that right. Because you're asking for it. You're asking, please engage me. I want to be engaged. I want to do some service. So, what kind of service do we want to do? What is this loving, devotional service? What does that mean? Well, I like to do this, so I want to do this for Krishna. Is that what we're talking about? Oh, that doesn't really sum it up, does it? I want to do this and I want to do it for Krishna. That's pious. It's service, but it's not on the platform of pure loving devotional service. Pure loving devotional service would be, I want to do what Krishna wants me to do. And I know what Krishna wants me to do through my spiritual master. Or through my Shiksha Guru. Diksha Guru may tell me, do this. Shiksha Guru may tell me, I need you to do this. So, and then I acquiesce. Yes, and I'll do it. I'll take it as if it's my desire. You see? So that's loving devotional service. It won't be, sometimes people come to the movement and they have some talents and they want to offer them to Krishna, and that's very nice. I remember talking with Tamal Krishna Maharaj one time, and we were riding somewhere, I don't remember, and he was saying before he came to the movement, he was an accomplished flautist. in San Francisco. He played the flute, jazz, strictly jazz, he said. So, and he was well known, big time in San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury area, playing the flute, probably to a lot of beatniks and maybe some quasi-hippies and whatever, back in 66, 1967, like that. And he said, and I said, really? You don't still play? And he said, no, when I became a devotee, I gave it up. And I said, well, why, Why would you just let it go like that? He said, well, I just didn't see how I could offer that to Krishna. He said, how can you chant and play the flute at the same time? And Prabhupada never instructed me to play the flute. Prabhupada instructed me to do so many other things. So this is what he loved to do, and he was very accomplished and somewhat famous in that Haight-Ashbury area, But he didn't think, oh, this is what I like to do. This gives me some profit. I get paid for it. It gives me some fame, some adoration and distinction. I think I'm going to bring this into Krishna consciousness, and I'm going to do this for Krishna. That would be pious. That's pious. But it's not pure devotional service, you see. So we have to be conscious of how many times do we say no. No, I'm not going to, I don't want to do, or I can't do that. I can't do that service. Can you? Really? Is it true that you can't do it? Or, well, that's not what I had planned. I didn't have that planned for that day. That particular day that you want me to do that service just happens to be a very busy day. And I can't fit it in. Or is it that I don't want to fit it in? So this is something, a conversation we have to have between us and us. We have to be honest with ourselves. I don't know if where is it? There's that famous saying, to thine own self be true. Where is it? Is it Shakespeare? I don't know. That is a saying, isn't it? People say that? Or am I just imagining it? Sometimes I imagine things. To thine own self be true. So we want everyone to be true with us, don't we? Don't you get insulted if someone is dishonest to you? Someone tells you a lie. You think, I don't want to hang around with that guy. You can't trust him. So what about you? What about that person that you see in the mirror every morning? Most of us do see ourselves in the mirror every morning, at least for a minute or two. So what about that guy? We want that guy to be honest with us, don't we? I mean, starting with that fella, let's try to be honest with him. If you can't be honest with that face in the mirror, then you're not going to be able to be honest with the other faces that you encounter. There's going to be a big challenge there. So starting with yourself, be your own check and balance. Be the one looking over your shoulder. And if you say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that service. Then you ought to whisper in your ear, are you sure you can? You could actually do this. You just don't want to. Well, I mean, it's going to interfere with my nap. I need my nap. You can't do without the nap today. I mean, this is a chance to get in there and do, So you have to say, no, I can do this. Not only can I, but I will. So count me in. I'll be there. I'll show up. So we have to train ourselves like this, you see, when an opportunity comes. An opportunity to expand. Maybe we reach our comfort level in our service. I'm good at this, and I'm good at that, and let's just let it ride at that. Because from what I'm doing right now, if I expand it, it's going to take up more of my time. And more of my time means it's going to eat into my nonsense time. We all want a little bit of nonsense time, don't we? You know? You can't do without nonsense time all the time, unless you have just a whole lot of service. You see, sometimes you have so much service that you don't have any time for nonsense time. So we have to see that, yes, I can do it. I can expand. I can become better. I can always become better. I'm part and parcel of Krishna. I have not reached my full potential. Years ago, I tried to stop saying to people that I'll try my best. Or I tried my best, you know. And I asked myself one time, this is me talking to me, have you ever really tried your best? As a part and parcel of Krishna, have you actually tried your best? I've tried my best according to the limitations that this body has. But I don't know if I've ever tried my best as a part and parcel of Krishna, empowered to serve my Guru. We're all empowered. If we surrender, we're empowered to serve Guru and Krishna. So I don't know. So I started to look at that in a different way. Maybe I didn't do my best. I just failed. I failed. I didn't do my best for whatever. I'm not even sure I know what my best is. I don't know if I'll ever find out what's my best, because I'm part and parcel of Krishna, and that's not a small thing. This is a huge thing. We all are empowered. By chanting Hare Krishna, we become empowered to serve Krishna. We become empowered to do devotional service. You see? So how can I say, I've reached my limit, I did my best, I maxed out? No, you didn't. You stopped trying. And it's okay, we're not trying to beat ourselves up here. We don't need to do that. We just have to admit there are times when I might have said, I tried my best, but I really know I didn't. I could have done better. I just didn't. I failed. But I'm going to not fail next time. Or at least next time I won't fail as much. I will do better. I am a part and parcel of Krishna. I have no idea what my empowerment is. I have no idea. All the power is coming from the Supreme. Krishna is the source of everything. Any potency you have, Krishna says, I am the ability in man. I mean, think of that. Krishna says, I am your ability. So, did you try your best if Krishna is your ability? No. So just be honest with that face in the mirror. No, I didn't. I didn't. If Krishna is my ability, then I should be successful. Unless he doesn't want me to be successful. If Krishna doesn't want you to be successful, we can live with that. You know, you just get out there and do the best with the power that he's giving you. Just surrender. Surrender to the instruction. Surrender to the order. And try our best whenever we can, whenever it's possible, whenever it's practical, to accept every opportunity to serve that we can. This makes a very cooperative mood in any community. If everyone is willing to, yeah, I'll take that service. Oh, yeah, please. Oh, thank you. Thank you for making that offer. You see, that's a very cooperative mood within a community. And communities like that are very strong. Very, very strong. So, and it breeds camaraderie, it breeds friendship. It breeds love between each of us. It breeds respect. Why, this Prabhu is always, every time we offer him some service, you notice how he just gets right on it, you see? So, we should be ready. We should train like that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Udana Shasti. And, but before I go on to that, are there any questions or comments about this verse? Anything about it? No comments? No questions? Ah, there's one. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Haribol.
Maharaj, here two types of people are mentioned by Manu Maharaj. One is who are attached with sense gratification, and other people, those who are free from all the Sangha, the sense gratification. So Kardama Muni, like in which category we can put him? I mean, which category we can put him? Because he had the desire to have a wife, but at the same time he did 10,000 years of tapasya. Like sometimes it becomes a little doubtful, like which category we put in Kardama Muni. This is one question.
So what is your question?
Which category of, like two categories are mentioned here. People, those who are free from all desires of sense gratification, and those who are attached with the sense gratification. Kardama Muni fits in which category? That's what the question, Maharaj.
Yeah, whether or not that you're actually desiring some boon,
Yeah.
or whether you're not. I think the Purport, Prabhupada explains that when that opportunity comes, that you shouldn't reject it. So if you're not looking for sense gratification, or if you are looking for sense gratification, then you should accept it when it comes. That's the way I read that verse. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. Yeah, they say, somewhere in the West, they say, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And that means that sometimes when if you're looking to buy a horse, people would look in the mouth of the horse and check the horse's teeth to see, is this a good horse? Is he healthy? So, but if someone is gifting you a horse, you should take the horse. You don't say, well, let me look at the teeth, you see. Accept the gift, you see. So we should be gracious and accept whatever comes our way, even though we may not be looking for it. We may not be looking for anything. But sometimes people just want to give you something. So you should accept it. Even if it's something that you don't want, or you'll probably never use, you can gift it to someone else. And they should accept it. This is part of what devotees do. We offer gifts in love, and we accept gifts in love. You know, if someone offers you a rose, and you may say, I don't like roses. Yeah. Kadamba. I want a kadamba. You know, I want a rose. Yeah. Well, that's not good. You accept the rose. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. And that giving and receiving, just it made a deposit in your devotional or your emotional bank account between each of you. So now you see each other in a more favorable light. Even because you accepted something that you wouldn't want. But you accepted the love. The camaraderie. Someone is saying, oh, let me give you this. Oh, thank you so much. This is very kind. And then you may give it to someone else and enhance your relationship with them. You see? So you may not want it. What to speak if you're looking for a rose, if you're wishing, oh, I wish I had a rose, and someone offers you a rose, well, now that's even better. So either way, we should accept it. In a loving way. The devotees, we hear so much about devotee care. That's a very popular topic. So we need to learn devotee care. But we need to learn how to avoid devotee abuse. You know? We need to be warm and loving with not just the devotees. Why can't we do that with everyone? If you're only loving and warm with just the devotees, then is your loving warmth, is it genuine? Or is it just something is it a mask that you put on for certain people? Instead of putting on a mask that you wear for certain persons and certain occasions, why can't you make your face warm and loving to everybody? Non-devotees, animals, everybody. What would happen if we did that? We'd have a happier life. There's a benefit from that. Those around you would have a happier life. It would be easier for you to touch people. If you're a preacher, that's valuable, to be able to touch people. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that this bhakti is transferred soul to soul. So it's not that we just throw a whole bunch of words in somebody's face. Somehow or other, for us to get them to take up this bhakti yoga, our souls have got to touch. And that's a warm, loving gesture. It's based on a warm, loving exchange. And it's going to be a lot easier for us to do that if we're just that way, if we just behave that way all the time. So now it's easy to bring in devotee care, because you care about the devotees and the non-devotees. We want to take care of them too. We want them to chant Hare Krishna. You see? So it's soul care. We want to care for all the souls. We want everything to benefit. So, is that a good answer, or is that?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you so much.
Is that too long an answer? I don't know.
Very comprehensive.
Thank you, Prabhu. About Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, I heard that before become devotee, he used to stay in forest. Like Kardama Muni, he was a little bit austere. He liked to stay in forest and doing some fire sacrifices. Have you heard that?
Say, what is your question?
Which means a little bit comments. Means I heard that Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, before joining ISKCON, he used to stay in forest.
Yes, he stayed at the Morning Star Farm, Northern California. Many devotees were there. And many of them lived in these big redwood trees. There was one tree, I can't remember all the details, perhaps Rameshwar Maharaj remembers, there's one tree that had this gigantic redwood trees, and hippies were living there, and as it turned out there were, I think, 6 or 5 future sannyasis living in one tree. Do you remember? I used to know who they were, but Gaur Hari. Yeah. You know, so they were, huh? Yeah. Yeah. I remember my godbrother, Gaur Hari Prabhu. This is an interesting story. He told me this when I was in Gita Nagari with him. Gohari, he's left his body now. So he was at the Morning Star farm, and there were hippies, and sometimes they didn't wear any clothes. So he wasn't wearing any clothes. The only thing he was wearing was a cowboy hat and some boots. Between the boots and the hat, nothing. Nothing. And so he's out in the garden and he's hoeing the garden. And Prabhupada had just come to visit the farm. So behind him, the devotees are walking with Prabhupada across the garden. And they said, Herbie, his name was Herb. Hey Herb, look, we got a Swami here. And so he turned around and he met his spiritual master. And he told me, he said, do you think I'll ever forget that moment of when I looked into Srila Prabhupada's eye and I was wearing nothing but cowboy boots and a cowboy hat? That is humbling. He was humbled at the lotus feet. And he, Prabhupada was very sweet, very nice. Hare Krishna. And so, from that Morning Star farm, many devotees came, big devotees. And they actually made a big contribution to ISKCON, you see. So, Gohari offered his respects to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada accepted them. He didn't say, oh, you creep. He didn't say to the devotees, what is this crazy place that you've brought me to? This man's not wearing any clothes. No, Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Prabhupada was transcendental. Then Gohari became a devout devotee, wonderful devotee. He and his wife raised a nice devotee family. And so many others became devotees because Prabhupada dealt with love. Prabhupada, if we want devotee care, if we want to establish devotee care, then we have to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. He already established devotee care. He showed us how to do it. Now, we weren't always good at administering this devotee care, but if we follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, then we can administer devotee care perfectly. Good question. Did you have a question, Prabhu?
Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, you mentioned in his question that whenever we is looking for some sense gratification or he has some kind of desire, and if it comes down the line on its own accord, and down the line while doing bhakti, our hearts change. Our desires change, and we don't want that thing. Earlier we wanted that thing. Similar to Dhruv Maharaj, he wanted a kingdom bigger than his father. And later on, after doing bhakti, when he got darshan of Lord Vishnu, then he didn't want that wish. But it comes on its own accord, because Lord Vishnu granted that wish to him, but he didn't want it. So similar case happens to sometimes with us also. So in that case, what should we do? In the shlok it is mentioned that we should accept, but our desires purify, as we heard, and we also read Prabhupada books, that over a period of time our desires purify. So we don't want that thing later on. So what should we do?
Is your question that we get something that we wanted, but then our desires change, and the thing comes anyway? Accept it. And use it in Krishna's service. Maybe you're desiring some kingdom. You want some kingdom. So, diamonds, rubies, gold, fortune. You want to win the lottery. So, and then you have a change of heart and you just want Krishna. But the lottery comes in anyway. So now you have Krishna and the lottery. That's not bad. That good. You see? Now, oh my dear Krishna, I have you now. Can I give you this? Would you accept this? I want to build you a temple. I want to buy you a farm. You know? I want to print books. I want so many things. So I wanted a fortune. And I wanted it for my own gratification. Why, I wanted a palace, beautiful women, the finest alcohol. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? The finest alcohol is still poison. You know? One person told me one time that you may pay a whole lot for alcohol, but it all tastes like some form of urine. You know? So how can one be finer than the other? Only a trick in the mind. It's Maya. This is poison, this is poison. This one is very inexpensive. This poison is very expensive, so therefore this is the one you want, the expensive poison. You know? No. So you want this. I want fortune so I can enjoy sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you know. But then I have a change of heart. And so now I have the fortune, but now I can use it for Krishna. I want to please Krishna with it. I want to use it to make Krishna happy. So, is that a good answer? It's a good question. Thank you. All right, I should spend just a minute probably talking about udyatasya. It's cold this morning, huh? I heard that Lord Jagannath was shivering like everything. It's cold. And so on udyatasya, we give Lord Jagannath a chadar, some cloth. And the custom is that before you give it to Lord Jagannath, because, you know, when you get new clothes, you wouldn't give Jagannath just a piece of cloth out of the closet or something you found on the ground. So you go and you to the merchant and you get him some nice new cloth. And new cloth tends to be starched. You know, they starch it so that they can draw lines on it and cut it and sew it together, and it looks better, you'll buy it. So customarily, even for yourself, not just for Lord Jagannath, but even for yourself, when you buy a new dhoti, don't you wash it first? You know, you wash the starch out. So that's the custom. We buy new cloth for Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra Devi, wash out the starch, and then we make the offering to the Lord. And so, Pundarik Vidyanidhi was, he was critical of one devotee who had made this offering of new cloth to Lord Jagannath, but he didn't wash the starch out. So he gave Lord Jagannath and Balaram, Subhadra Devi this stiff cloth. And so he was critical, maybe a little overly so, overly critical, you see. And so, you know, he was really upset, very, very critical of this devotee. So that night, Balaram and Jagannath came in his dream, and they were slapping. They were slapping him. So when he woke up the next morning, his face was all swollen because Balaram and Jagannath were smacking him, you know. It was nice that you're pointing out that our cloth was still stiff, but you were too mean to the devotee. Should have been kinder. Devotee care. So this is devotee abuse. Well, you're being too mean to him. Why didn't you just kindly point it out? You didn't have to embarrass him in front of everybody. You didn't have to act like that. You could have just kindly pointed out that, Prabhu, it's best if we wash it, give it to him nice and soft cloth. That would be better. Better for his service and better for your relationship with him. So anyway, Lord Jagannath and Balaram came. They're smacking. And he woke up and his face is all swollen. But he felt wonderful. He felt good from this. So that's today. You notice it's a little colder today. Am I the only one that's noticing it's a little, it's a little colder? Huh?
17 degrees. It said 17 Celsius.
Yeah.
But it seems to be colder.
Seems to be. Yeah. Seems to be colder to me, anyway. Maybe it's just my mind. But, as I was reading this, I was thinking that this is, it goes right in, it follows along with what we were talking about devotee care. Devotee care begins with how do we treat one another? This is an incredibly important point. We don't spend enough time on this issue. We just don't. We need to give a lot more attention to how we deal with each other. If you notice the older devotees, more senior devotees, how they relate with each other, why can't we be more like that? And we see the exchanges between many of the older devotees. They're always loving, isn't it? Isn't it, Prabhu? We noticed that. They've learned through the years. Sometimes we learn through the school of hard knocks. Have you heard, what that means, the school of hard knocks? So why can't we learn through intelligence? Let's just, and that's the price is that you have to be nicer and more respectful to everyone. That's the price. But then what do you get? You get to live a much better life. And those around you will live a much better life because of you. Because of you, people will be happier. Because you never abuse. You always offer respect and a loving mood. So, any more questions? Comments? Yes, Mother.
When you receive something freely like that, is it also that Krishna's trying to tell you something in your devotional life?
That's a good point. I think the clear understanding is that Krishna is always trying to tell us something. Especially as Paramatma, we're like two birds in a tree in the heart region. Krishna's right next to us. He's the ability that you have. Any ability that you have, that's Krishna. He's trying to direct you every minute, but we came here to get away from him, and we're not listening. So as we advance in our spiritual lives, that part of that advancement comes from when we're always listening. If Krishna is right next to us, like two birds in a tree, he's Paramatma and we're the Atma, shouldn't we always be having some conversation with him? I mean, he's there to observe, but he's also saying, maybe do this, maybe do that. But we're not always wanting someone else's opinion. We have it set like, I'm going to do this and I want to do this. It would be nice if we developed a relationship with Krishna that we say, I think I want to do this. What do you think, Krishna? You know, I haven't heard any suggestions from you, my Lord, on what I should do, so I'm assuming that maybe I can do that. What do you think? Yeah.
I have another question. Everywhere around here you see beggars. So many thousands of beggars. So at a certain point you have to decide not to give to all these people, or even not to give. And I always feel guilty about this, that aren't you caring about all these people, but there are thousands. How do you react towards this?
Well, it depends on where I can use my resources that I have to serve Srila Prabhupada. I have so many limited resources that I can use to serve Srila Prabhupada. One of the most important resources is time. Maybe Lakshmi, you know. So how can I give my time and my Lakshmi to someone that it may be some trick anyway? Maybe that's just their business that they're in. You know, what I started doing decades ago when I'm here and someone's telling me they're hungry, and I said, well, we give away prasadam. You know, we feed a lot of hungry people. Why are you coming to me? I don't have any prasadam. And sometimes I've taken them across the street when I'm out in the front gate, and they're selling some puris or something there. I'll buy them something. Here you go. Oh, no, they want money. So I can't do that. No. I'm not here to fund, you know, but I can give you Krishna consciousness. I can give you the holy name. So, and we should do like that and not feel guilty. You know, it's not our it's not our service to go out and personally, for me to go out and feed the multitudes or to see that they have money. That's not my personal service. Prabhupada never told me to do that. So I have to continue my service, and I can't take away my time and resources to. There really are places and people that will take care of those folks. So don't feel guilty.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.